Welcome back to the Express at the Remember Project at the Canadian Military Education Centre in Chilliwack. Coming up, we'll talk to veteran Rolly Keith about what Remembrance Day means to him and hear from Holocaust survivor Alex Buckman. But right now we're joining the students at Abbotsford's Eugene Reimer Middle School as they honor the veterans.
We have to acknowledge the fighters that fought in the war because they died for Canada so we could have freedom and the rights that we do today.
Students at Reimer Middle School in Abbotsford paid their respects to Canada's fallen soldiers.
We're now going to lay the wreaths. The wreaths represent all the people who died in the past, the present, and in the future. When I've talked to veterans, they're worried that the children will forget. It's an aging generation, and there's not people left behind, and they're scared that everyone's going to forget. We incorporate literature with Remembrance Day so the children will not forget, and they'll see these images and maybe they'll touch their hearts and they'll remember why we have the freedoms we do.
He's ordered on and obeys by advancing, no hope of returning from.
We do take a moment of silence to remember all the soldiers who fought for us, and we are acknowledging the poppies and the wreaths, and we also have the cross over there, so that I think we're trying to remember each and every single one of soldiers who just gave us maybe just a little bit of rights and the life that we're living today.
We have a variety of things. We have some students are reading literature that they created.
It could mean remembering your great-great-great-grandfather who served as a soldier in the war.
We, the second and third generations, have already disposed of the great despair the world once felt.
They did not do it for themselves, and not even for their families. They fought to rid the world of evil.
One teacher took a little story and made a play out of that.
Can someone tell me how you think you can earn the right to sit at a desk? These heroes did it for you. They worked hard. They gave up a lot so that you could have the freedom to get a good education.
A component unique to this assembly was the acknowledgement of Sikh soldiers.
We included a little segment of the Sikh community. We have a high population of Sikh people in our school, so we added a little video to show how the Sikhs contribute, and it is more powerful if the children see someone that they can identify with.
Sandra says even at this age, she knows the children are getting the message.
I think it's important to celebrate Remembrance Day because we are remembering the soldiers who had fallen in war and they deserve to be remembered. It is important to wear a poppy because it symbolizes Flanders Fields.
They're pretty somber and they have a huge understanding that people died for them, and this world would be a different place if that didn't happen.
I could hear echoes of people yelling, bombs going off and grenades exploding.
Here comes another shell. There goes one more Conrad.
People are dying everywhere. Mothers are crying for their sick children.
It is 7:05 a.m. on November 11th. I see my face on TV, and I'm proud to be a World War II veteran.
In Abbotsford, I'm Melanie Pineda for The Express.
From Abbotsford, we join the Remembrance Day ceremony at Chief Maquinna Elementary School in East Vancouver, where it's as much about remembering the past as it is about focusing on the importance of peace in the future.
It was a Remembrance Day celebration to remember for the audience and students at Chief Maquinna Elementary School.
We have the freedom to say what we want, and we want peace.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow.
There were classic elements of a Remembrance Day celebration in both poem and song.
Sing for peace, sing for peace.
But this school assembly was also a first step towards something even bigger.
The last few years we have taken the opportunity of using our Remembrance Day assembly, which most of the parents can't come to, in turning into a peace concert. So essentially we take most of the things that happen for the Remembrance Day Assembly, do it in the evening, invite the community in.
With the support of the community, the students at Chief Maquinna are taking concrete steps to create a better world.
About
3 years ago, we decided to make some money for UNICEF, and then we got interested in other projects too, like Doctors Without Borders and Free the Children, and we just liked doing the concert so much. It's a fundraiser for those charities. So this year we decided to choose the SPCA.
The students were involved in their choice to support the SPCA, and they were also involved in the design of the concert.
This is the promise that I'll make to you, to care for your animals, for animals can hear.
They helped to find the songs, they helped to play the songs, accompany the songs, sing the songs, and write the little speeches and poems and things. So they have a lot of ownership with it.
We're the future of tomorrow. Let our voices touch the sky.
It's also good for kids to learn to give back and to raise money for a cause and learn about a cause and get involved in a cause.
I think it's really important not to lose sight of how lucky we are in Canada. And I think for students, marking Remembrance Day means to them on a number of levels that they are feeling safe in their community. They're able to explore freedom of speech. And the reason that they're able to do that is because of history and those that have fallen before us.
Chief Maquinna's Remembrance Day celebration, which will evolve into this year's fundraising peace concert, ended on a note of celebration, looking toward the future. I'm Kendall Harris in Vancouver for the Express.
You're watching our Express Remembrance Day Special, and we have more on how this important day is being commemorated around BC coming up.
In my case, we were all young men, but we were together. You become very close, you bond.
War veteran Rolly Keith remembers in Chilliwack.
And in many ways, it's even closer than a family.
Auschwitz was a very large camp.
Holocaust survivor Alex Buckman reflects in Coquitlam.
Lost both my grandparents and lost my mother and my father.
You're watching local TV on the Express.
My name is Kim. I'm a new mom. Just before my baby's first birthday, my doctor will tell me I have leukemia. There'll be rounds and rounds of chemo.
What if someone you loved needed blood and it wasn't there?
If there's not enough blood, it may not be the cancer that'll kill me.
Roll up your sleeves and give. To book your appointment, call Canadian Blood Services at 1-888-2-DONATE. Blood, it's in you to give.
Welcome back to the Express at the Canadian Military Education Centre and Museum. Now, this place is open year-round here in Chilliwack, but every year in honor of Remembrance Day, they put on the Remember Project, giving us the unique and cherished opportunity to hear stories from military vets.
Very small Air Force and Navy, and they went overseas as part of the British Empire's war effort. Well, I'm very proud to stand in front of a Sherman tank. As a young student in Vancouver, I joined the Reserve Army, and I served in the British Columbia Regiment. And when I was only 17 years of age, my first job in the military was driving a Sherman tank. So I played a small role when this tank was available here some 35 years ago to have it put on the Bailey Bridge to commemorate the service of Canada's Army in the Second World War and the subsequent operations. It can do about 35 miles an hour on a road.
Oh, really?
It was diesel powered, and you can see the tracks and the running gear here, and that's a 76 millimeter gun. That was one of the better guns at the end of World War II. Canada used well over 1,000 Sherman tanks during the Second World War. Well, the medals that I've been awarded are the medals that I've accumulated over my 34 years of service. And I have the Canadian Forces Decoration. The other medals I have here are from various international missions that I participated in. And I think this is a very important time of the year because it's what we know in Canada as Remembrance Week. I'm very pleased, of course, to see a renewed interest in participating in Remembrance Day. I'm very honored to play a small role in doing my part to let children know what we have here and the significance of what these days and the history means to me.
The tank was put on display in 1978 as an artifact, and Rowley named it after his oldest daughter, Caroline. Now, I think it's so important to share these stories of wartime so you can take the fantasy out of history and give it the weight, the relevance, and the reverence that it deserves. Our next story takes us to Coquitlam to meet Holocaust survivor Alex Buckman.
They murdered my mother. Auschwitz was a very large camp.
6 million Jews died in World War II. Alex Buckman was the lucky one. He was just a child in an orphanage when chaos was happening outside his window.
The Nazis used to come to the orphanage to do inspections. When the orphanage was on top of a hill.
Students from the Tri-Cities took part in this Holocaust symposium.
There are two issues involved with the Holocaust. The first one is this, that the brutality of our species. We can do these things. We can kill 1.25 million children and not blink an eye at times. Secondly, to remind the students that we can be indifferent.
She was defiant. If caught, no questions asked, they would have shot her.
It's living history in that respect, to remind the students that there's a face to this horror, there's a face to the suffering that we see, and a connection.
Lost both my grandparents and lost my mother and my father. So for me it is very important. I was lucky to survive, and I find it my obligation to talk for them that did not survive.
This was everything that happened to him and to his family, so it was a much more personal feeling, and also seeing all his emotions and reactions to what he learned about his family's experience in the concentration camps is just incredible.
Because it was the war, you couldn't travel openly, and therefore we had to hide, and we had to travel at night and hide during the day.
In memory of the victims, the Tri-City students held a candle lighting ceremony. They tell us why they think Remembrance Day is so important.
It's a way to remember everyone who fought for our freedom, because if they didn't fight for what we have today, then I bet you I wouldn't even be here right now.
Remembrance Day is very important because we need to respect people who already defended our country, because if we didn't have them defending our country, you never know, the Germans might have won that war.
People fought to stop indifference, people fought to stop intolerance, people fought to stop the systematic destruction of human lives, and we honor our veterans for doing that.
They only chose boys. I was one of them.
After hearing Alex Buckman's courageous story, those here think he's an inspiration.
To come in front of several hundred people and share those emotional stories is huge. I mean, I don't think I could do that.
That embarrasses me. I'm just an individual who took it upon himself to speak. I never knew that I could do this. I want to remember, and I survived, and I'd like to give back.
In Coquitlam, I'm Melanie Pineda for The Express.
The Vancouver Holocaust Education Centre shares their message through outreach speakers and also through photo exhibitions, and you can find out more information at their website. And for more ways to honor the past, we have some suggestions with today's Express Spotlight. Travel back in time and explore Vancouver through its most personal histories. The Memory Festival uses the art of storytelling and the act of remembering, told through award-winning writers, art exhibitions, and memoir writing workshops. What bonds do we have with the past? As part of Nikkei's 10th anniversary celebrations, this Japanese-Canadian museum showcases the works of 4 contemporary artists who have created an exhibit connecting through generations. The Jewish Book Festival brings together an exciting roster of authors. This 5-day event features a tribute to Yiddish poet Avraham Sutzkever, whose poetry unrelentingly documents the human cruelty of one of the darkest periods in human history. And that's it for today's Express from the Remember Project at the Canadian Military Education Centre in the Fraser Valley. I'm Johanna Warden on behalf of all of us on the Express. Thank you so much for sharing in our Remembrance Day Special.